The great chamber fell silent as High Elder Zixnera raised his three-fingered hand. The 12 members of the Galactic Council turned their attention to the floating hologram in the center of the room. It showed a small blue planet. "Earth," said Zixnera, his voice deep and gravelly. "Home to the species known as humans. They have advanced from primitive technology to rudimentary space travel in merely 300 cycles." Ambassador Krulvox leaned forward, his green skin reflecting the light of the hologram. "Their rate of development is concerning. No other species has progressed so quickly." The hologram changed to show human cities, vehicles, and weapons. "They are violent," said General Fax, a bulky creature with armored skin. "They fight constant wars among themselves. Imagine what they would do if they discovered other civilizations." Dr. Alan Wright was not supposed to be awake. He was not supposed to be hiding behind a ventilation panel in the council chamber. He was a physicist from Ohio who had been taken from Earth 6 months ago for study. The aliens thought he was safely asleep in a stasis pod. Alan's heart pounded as he watched through the slats. He had woken up when a young alien technician accidentally hit the wrong button. In the confusion, Alan had slipped away and found himself here, witnessing something no human was meant to see. "The question before us," continued Zixnera, "is what to do about Earth. We have 3 options: quarantine the planet, eliminate the humans entirely, or subjugate them for our benefit." Alan covered his mouth to stay quiet. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Quarantine would require constant monitoring, said a council member with tentacles instead of arms. "Too costly." "Elimination is wasteful," argued a small bird-like alien. "Humans could serve a purpose." Krulvox nodded. "Their planet is rich in resources we need, and humans themselves could be valuable workers. They are adaptable and learn quickly." Alan watched in horror as the aliens discussed the fate of Earth like it was nothing more than a business decision. "They would resist," said General Fax. "Not if we approach properly," replied Krulvox. "We present ourselves as friendly visitors, offering technology and knowledge. Meanwhile, we position our forces and infiltrate their governments. By the time they realize our true purpose, it will be too late." Alan felt sick. He needed to warn Earth, but he was trapped on an alien ship countless miles from home. The council voted. One by one, they pressed buttons on their floating screens. The result appeared above the hologram of Earth, 9-3 in favor of subjugation. "It is decided," announced Zixnera. "We will begin the diplomatic mission immediately. Within 1 Earth year, we will have control of their planet and its people." The meeting ended, and the council members filed out. Alan remained hidden, his mind racing. He had to escape somehow. When the chamber was empty, he slipped out and made his way through the corridors, avoiding the strange aliens that walked past. He had spent weeks memorizing the ship's layout during his brief moments of consciousness in the lab. He reached the shuttle bay and saw his chance. A small scout ship sat ready, its pilot nowhere to be seen. Alan had watched the aliens pilot their vessels. The controls were strange, but not impossible to understand. Alarms blared as he started the engines. The bay doors began to close. Alan pushed forward on what he hoped was the throttle, and the ship shot out into space. Behind him, the massive council ship grew smaller. Ahead of him lay Earth, a blue dot in the distance. He had no idea if the ship could make it that far, or if he could pilot it properly. But he had to try. Alan Wright, ordinary physicist, was now the only human who knew what was coming. And he was in a race against time to save his planet. The scout ship tore through Earth's atmosphere, trailing fire and smoke. Alan gripped the controls, his knuckles white. He had never flown anything more complicated than a flight simulator, and now he was crash-landing an alien spacecraft. The ground rushed up to meet him. Fields of corn stretched out below. Alan pulled back on what he hoped was the landing mechanism. The ship slowed slightly but still hit the ground hard. It bounced once, twice, then skidded through a cornfield before coming to a stop. Alan sat motionless for a moment, making sure he was still alive. Nothing seemed broken. He pushed open the hatch and climbed out, breathing in the sweet, familiar air of Earth. He was in the middle of nowhere, but at least it was home. "Don't move," a woman's voice called out. Alan turned slowly. A woman in her 50s stood pointing a shotgun at him. She wore jeans and a flannel shirt. Her gray streaked hair was tied back in a ponytail. "Please," Alan said, raising his hands. "I'm human. I need help." The woman narrowed her eyes. "You just fell from the sky in that thing. Forgive me if I'm skeptical. My name is Dr. Alan Wright. I was taken from Earth 6 months ago. I've escaped to warn everyone. We're in danger." The woman kept the shotgun steady. "I'm Mary Collins. This is my farm you crashed on. You've got 1 minute to convince me not to call the authorities." Alan took a deep breath. There's a galactic council of alien species. They'd voted to subjugate Earth. They're sending ships here soon, pretending to be friendly, but they plan to take over. I was their prisoner. I stole this ship to get back. Mary's expression didn't change. "Show me something that proves you're telling the truth." Alan reached into his pocket slowly and pulled out a small device he'd taken from the lab. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared, showing the council chamber and the aliens discussing Earth. Mary lowered her shotgun slightly. "Well, I'll be damned." 2 hours later, they sat at Mary's kitchen table. Alan had showered and changed into clothes that belonged to Mary's son. The alien device sat between them. "So you're saying we have maybe a year before they arrive?" Mary asked. Alan nodded. "That's their timeline. But I don't know how fast they can move. Could be sooner." Mary sipped her coffee. "You crashed in the right place. I was military intelligence for 27 years. I still have contacts. You believe me. That thing you showed me isn't human technology. And you don't seem crazy." She stood up. "We need to call someone I know at the Pentagon. Colonel John Reeves. He'll listen." Mary made the call from a secure line in her basement. Alan waited nervously, wondering if anyone would believe their story. After a long conversation, Mary hung up and nodded to him. "He's sending a team. They'll be here by morning." The team arrived before dawn. 2 black SUVs pulled up to the farmhouse. Colonel Reeves was a tall man with a serious face. With him were a woman introduced as Samantha Garcia, an engineer, and a man named Dr. William Taylor, a linguist. They examined the scout ship and the alien device. Samantha's eyes lit up as she studied the technology. William recorded the alien language from the hologram. "This changes everything," Colonel Reeves said finally. "If what you're saying is true, we need to prepare." "It's true," Alan said. "I watched them vote to enslave us." "Then we need to work fast," said Samantha, already taking notes on the ship's design. "We need to understand their technology, their weaknesses, and their language," added William. "Communication will be key." Mary looked at Alan. "You crashed in my field for a reason. The universe has a strange way of putting the right people together." Colonel Reeves nodded. "We'll set up a secure facility. From this moment, you're all part of Task Force Breakwater. Our mission, prepare Earth for what's coming." Alan looked around at these strangers who now carried the weight of humanity's future with him. For the first time since his escape, he felt a glimmer of hope. 6 weeks passed. Task Force Breakwater worked from a hidden facility deep underground in Nevada. The scout ship Alan had stolen was taken apart piece by piece. Samantha spent day and night studying the alien technology, while William worked to fully translate the alien languages. Then it happened. Massive ships appeared in Earth's sky. They hung above major cities: New York, London, Beijing, Moscow. The world watched in shock as the ships simply appeared, seeming to step out of nowhere. Alan stood with Mary and Colonel Reeves in the command center, watching the screens. "They're here earlier than I expected," he said, his voice tight. All screens switched to a broadcast. The smooth green face of Ambassador Krelvox appeared, smiling in a way that seemed practiced. "People of Earth," he said in perfect English, "we come in peace. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, a community of advanced civilizations. We have watched your progress with great interest and believe the time has come to welcome you into our fellowship." "He's lying," Alan said. "That's exactly what they planned in the council meeting." Colonel Reeves nodded. "Keep watching." On screen, Krelvox continued. "We offer friendship and technology, knowledge to cure your diseases, clean energy, an end to war and suffering." The world's leaders quickly arranged meetings with the aliens. People celebrated in the streets. News channels couldn't talk about anything else. "They're falling for it," Mary said. William rushed in, holding a tablet. "I've fully decoded their communication system. They're talking to each other right now, not knowing we can listen." He placed the tablet on the table. The alien language played, with a translation appearing below. Phase 1 complete. Humans responding as expected. Begin placing monitoring devices. Identify key leaders for replacement. "Replacement?" Mary asked. Alan's face darkened. "They can disguise themselves as humans. They must be planning to replace key people in power." Samantha joined them, her clothes wrinkled from days without proper rest. "I found something in their technology. It all operates on a specific energy frequency. If we can disrupt that frequency, we could shut down their technology," Colonel Reeves finished. "Maybe," Samantha cautioned. "I need more time to be sure." The next day, the aliens requested permission to build embassy complexes in 50 major cities. All were approved within hours. Task Force Breakwater watched as construction began at impossible speeds. Strange buildings rose overnight. People lined up to see the aliens, to learn from them, to receive their gifts. "We need to warn people," Alan insisted. "With what proof?" Colonel Reeves asked. "The world sees them as saviors. We'd be dismissed as crazy conspiracy theorists." Mary stood up. "Then we need better proof. And we need to build our resistance network while we still can." The team developed a plan. Alan would lead a small team to infiltrate one of the new embassy buildings. William would plant devices to intercept more alien communications. Samantha would look for technology they could use. The mission was set for night. Alan, William, and 2 soldiers made their way through the dark streets of San Francisco. The alien embassy glowed with strange blue light. "Remember," Alan whispered, "these aliens can look like us now. Trust no one." They used keycards Samantha had copied to enter through a service door. Inside, the building was like nothing they had seen. Corridors shifted and changed. Doors appeared and disappeared. "This way," William said, following readings on his device. They reached a central room filled with pulsing technology. William quickly planted his listening devices. Alan downloaded data from what appeared to be a main console. An alarm suddenly blared. "We've been detected," the soldier said. "Get what we came for," Alan told William. They ran for the exit as alien guards appeared. Not all looked human. Some had given up their disguises in the emergency. The team barely escaped, diving into their waiting van as energy weapons fired behind them. Back at the base, they examined what they'd found. William looked grim. "It's worse than we thought," he said. "They're already replacing people, and their real plan begins in just 3 months." 3 months after the aliens arrived, the world had changed. Alien technology was everywhere. People used alien devices to talk to each other, to travel, to heal sickness. Governments signed treaties allowing aliens to mine resources in exchange for more technology. Task Force Breakwater was forced to abandon their Nevada base when an alien ship appeared directly above it. They now operated from an old missile silo in Montana. Their numbers had grown. People who noticed strange things about the aliens found their way to the resistance. Samantha had made a breakthrough. She showed the team her new device, a small metal box with a blinking light. "It can detect aliens disguised as humans," she explained. It reads their unique energy signature. Alan tested it on himself. The light stayed green. When they had an alien prisoner for a brief time, it had turned red. "This changes everything," Mary said. "We can finally tell who's really human." The team began using the detectors in major cities. They were shocked by what they found. Hundreds of important people, politicians, business leaders, military commanders, had been replaced by aliens in disguise. "They're taking control without most people realizing it," Colonel Reeves said during their weekly meeting. "And they're preparing for the next phase." William had been monitoring alien communications. They're calling it Integration Day. In 1 month, they plan to activate devices in all their embassies, something that will make humans easier to control. "Like mind control?" Alan asked. William nodded. "Something like that. They keep talking about making humans docile and obedient." Mary slammed her hand on the table. "We need to stop them. We need to destroy those devices before they can be activated." "There are 50 embassies around the world," Colonel Reeves reminded her. "We don't have the resources to hit them all." Samantha had been quiet, thinking. "We might not need to," she said finally. "I've been studying their technology. It all connects to a central network. If we can disrupt that network, none of their devices will work." "How do we do that?" Alan asked. "I need access to their main ship," Samantha said. "The one above New York. It's their command center on Earth. With the right program uploaded to their network, we could create a virus that spreads to all their systems." It was a dangerous plan. The main ship was heavily guarded, but they had no choice. Alan volunteered to lead the mission. Mary insisted on going too. They prepared for 2 weeks, studying the ship's layout based on Alan's memories and the data they had collected. The night of the mission arrived. Alan and Mary, along with 4 soldiers, boarded a small aircraft. Samantha had modified it with alien technology to hide from their sensors. "Remember," Samantha told them before they left, "you'll have 10 minutes to upload the virus before their systems detect it." They flew toward New York under the cover of darkness. The massive alien ship hung above the city like a second moon. They found an access point on the bottom of the ship, just as Alan had remembered. Once inside, they moved quietly through the corridors. Alan led the way, recognizing the layout from his time as a prisoner. They'd reached the central computer room with only one minor encounter with a guard. Mary stood watch while Alan connected Samantha's device to the alien computer. The upload began. 5 minutes, Alan whispered, watching the progress bar. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed in the corridors. "They've detected us," Mary said, readying her weapon. 3 more minutes, Alan said, watching the device anxiously. The sound of running footsteps came from the corridor. Mary and the soldiers took positions. "No matter what, the upload must finish," Alan said. The first aliens appeared at the door, weapons raised. The battle for Earth's freedom had begun. Energy weapons fired down the corridor. Mary and the soldiers took cover behind the metal frames of the doorway. They returned fire, their modified weapons capable of penetrating alien armor. 2 more minutes, Alan called, watching the upload progress. An alien fell, then another, but more kept coming. "We can't hold them much longer," Mary shouted over the noise. One of the soldiers was hit. He fell, his chest smoking from the energy blast. 1 minute, Alan said. Mary fired continuously, her face set with determination. Another soldier went down. Now it was just Mary and 2 others against a growing number of aliens. 30 seconds. An alarm blared throughout the ship, different from the first. The aliens in the corridor suddenly stopped attacking. They looked confused, touching their communication devices. "Upload complete," Alan announced. The lights in the ship flickered. Systems powered down and then up again. The aliens in the corridor began to retreat. "What's happening?" Mary asked. Alan grinned. "Samantha's virus. It's working." They made their way back to their entry point, encountering no resistance. Throughout the ship, aliens ran in confusion as their systems malfunctioned. They escaped the ship and returned to their hidden base. Samantha was waiting, her face lit by computer screens. "It worked," she said. "The virus spread through their network. Every piece of alien technology on Earth is affected." On screens around the room, they watched news reports. Alien ships hovering above cities were losing power, some drifting off course. Alien embassies went dark. Devices people had been given stopped working. "What exactly did you do?" Colonel Reeves asked. "The virus doesn't destroy their technology," Samantha explained. "It just disconnects it from their control system, and it reveals what each device was really designed to do." William was monitoring alien communications. "They're panicking. The Council is demanding answers." On a screen, they watched as the President of the United States held up an alien device that had been presented as a health monitor. This device was recording and reporting every word said in its presence. He announced, "The aliens have been spying on us all." Similar revelations were happening worldwide. The alien technology that everyone had welcomed was being exposed for what it really was: tools for control and surveillance. High Elder Zixnera appeared on screens around the world, his message translated by William's program. "This is a small setback," he declared. "The subjugation will continue. Our military ships are on the way." His threat was clear, but it had an unexpected effect. Instead of causing fear, it united humans against a common enemy. "We need to prepare for the real invasion," Colonel Reeves said. Task Force Breakwater was no longer a small secret group. Governments around the world were reaching out, asking for their help and expertise. Military leaders wanted Samantha's technology. Intelligence agencies wanted William's translation abilities. Everyone wanted to hear Alan's first-hand knowledge of the aliens. A woman named Lisa Peterson joined their team, a brilliant hacker who could further improve Samantha's virus. A police officer named Frank Martinez brought a network of observers who had been tracking alien movements. A doctor named Karen Wilson arrived with important discoveries about alien biology. "The aliens think they're coming to finish what they started," Mary said during a global planning meeting. "But they don't understand what they've done." Alan looked around at the room full of determined humans. "They've united us. For the first time in history, all of humanity is working together against a common threat." Colonel Reeves nodded. "And thanks to you all, we're not defenseless. We know their plans. We understand their technology. We're ready." Mary smiled grimly. "The Council voted to subjugate humanity, but they don't know who they're dealing with." The real war was about to begin. 2 weeks after the virus exposed the aliens' true plans, Earth received a message. The Council's war fleet was approaching. 50 massive ships, each carrying thousands of soldiers. They would arrive in 3 days. The world prepared for war. Military bases around the globe were equipped with weapons modified by Samantha's team. These weapons could now hurt the aliens. Karen's research had revealed something unexpected. Earth's common bacteria were harmful to the aliens. Their bodies had no defense against these microscopic life forms. "That's why they always wore protective suits when they were around us," Karen explained to the leadership team. "They're afraid of our germs." "Can we use that?" Colonel Reeves asked. Karen nodded. "We've developed aerosol sprays. Not lethal, but they will make the aliens very sick, enough to stop them from fighting." Frank Martinez's network of observers reported that some aliens were still hiding on Earth. His teams worked to find and capture them before they could help the coming invasion. Lisa Peterson had improved Samantha's virus. "The new version doesn't just shut down their technology," she explained. "It lets us control it." The day before the fleet was due to arrive, disaster struck. Commander Drex, the Council's top military leader, launched a surprise attack on the Montana base. He had been hiding on Earth, preparing for this moment. Explosions rocked the facility. Alan and Mary led people to emergency exits as parts of the base collapsed. Colonel Reeves was trapped under fallen concrete. Mary ran to help him. "Go," he shouted to her. "Get everyone out. That's an order." Mary hesitated, then obeyed. She helped lead survivors to backup locations they had prepared, but the attack had cost them dearly. Their main base was destroyed. Many good people were dead or injured, and Colonel Reeves was missing, presumed captured. The remaining leaders gathered at a backup facility in the Rocky Mountains. Alan looked around at their tired, dirty faces. "We've lost a lot," he said, "but we still have our greatest weapons: the virus, Karen's bacterial sprays, and most importantly, our determination." William received an emergency transmission. The alien fleet had arrived early. They were taking positions around Earth. On screens, they watched as Ambassador Krelvox appeared with a message. Behind him stood Colonel Reeves, clearly injured. "People of Earth," Krelvox said, his friendly mask gone now, "your resistance is meaningless. Surrender now, or we will destroy your major cities one by one." Colonel Reeves suddenly lunged forward. "Don't give in. We can beat them. They're vulnerable to." An alien guard struck him down. The transmission ended. The room was silent. Then Mary spoke. "John was trying to tell us something. Something about the aliens being vulnerable." "Their biology," Karen said. "It's not just our bacteria they're vulnerable to. It's our entire ecosystem. Plants, animals, insects. Earth itself rejects them. That's why they wanted to control us from orbit," Ellen realized. "They can't survive here long term." Samantha's eyes lit up. "And now their ships are in our atmosphere. If Lisa's new virus works." Lisa nodded. "We can take control of their fleet." "We need to move fast," Alan said, "before they start destroying cities." They quickly developed a plan. Using the satellite network, they would upload Lisa's improved virus to the entire alien fleet at once. At the same time, military forces around the world would attack the ships with modified weapons. Alan looked at his friends. 6 months ago, he had been a prisoner on an alien ship, helpless and alone. Now he stood with the defenders of Earth, ready to fight back. "The Council thought we would be easy to conquer," he said. "Let's show them how wrong they were." The sky filled with alien ships. They hung over cities across the world, dark and threatening. Inside the Rocky Mountain facility, Alan, Mary, Samantha, William, Lisa, Frank, and Karen prepared for humanity's last stand. "The virus is ready," Lisa said, "but we need a stronger signal to reach all ships at once." "We need to get to the command ship," Alan said. "The one where they're holding Colonel Reeves." Mary nodded. "A small team could sneak aboard while they're focused on preparing their attack." They chose their team. Alan, Mary, Frank, and Samantha would go. William, Lisa, and Karen would coordinate from the ground. They took a small aircraft, modified with alien technology that Samantha had reverse-engineered. They approached the massive command ship hovering over Washington, D.C. Using the confusion of multiple human aircraft in the area as cover, they docked in a maintenance bay. "Remember," Samantha whispered as they moved through the corridors, "we need to reach the central communication hub." They encountered few aliens at first. Most were preparing for the attack on Earth, but as they got closer to the ship's center, resistance increased. Frank used Karen's bacterial spray when they had no choice but to fight. The aliens fell back, coughing and disoriented. They found Colonel Reeves in a holding cell. He was injured but alive. "I knew you'd come," he said as Mary helped him up. "We don't have much time," Alan warned. "They're going to start attacking cities any minute." They reached the communication hub. Samantha quickly connected Lisa's virus to the main system. But before she could start the upload, Commander Drex appeared with a squad of guards. "Humans," he sneered, "always interfering." A battle erupted. Mary and Frank protected Samantha while she worked. Colonel Reeves, despite his injuries, joined the fight. Alan faced Commander Drex. "Your species is primitive," Drex said, advancing on Alan. "You were meant to serve us. "We were meant to be free," Alan replied, "and we protect our home." The fight was brutal. Drex was stronger, but Alan was fighting for everything he loved. In the end, Alan managed to use Karen's bacterial spray directly in Drex's face. The commander fell, overwhelmed by Earth's microscopic defenders. "Upload complete," Samantha called. Throughout the ship, systems began to change. Lights flickered. The alien crew looked confused, then panicked as their controls no longer responded. William's voice came over their communication device. "It's working. All 50 ships are infected." On screens around the hub, they could see the effect spreading. The virus gave humans control of the alien fleet, and with that control came access to the aliens' full database. "Look at this," Samantha said, pointing to information streaming across a screen. Plans for all their technology, their history, everything. The Council's ships were now under human control. The invasion was over before it began. 3 weeks later, Alan stood with his friends in a meeting room at the United Nations. Representatives from every nation on Earth were present. On a large screen, High Elder Zixnera appeared, his arrogance replaced by caution. "The Council has reconvened," Zixnera announced. "We wish to negotiate peace with Earth." "We're not interested in your terms," the Secretary General replied. "Humanity has its own terms now." Ellen stepped forward. "The Council voted to subjugate humanity. That was your mistake. We aren't your servants. We're your equals. And now we have your technology, your knowledge, and control of your fleet." Zixnera looked stunned. "What do you want?" "A seat on the Council," Mary said. "Equal standing with all other species." "Impossible," Zixnera sputtered. "You're too primitive." Samantha smiled. "We reversed engineered your technology in months. We defeated your invasion. We changed the rules of your game." After hours of negotiation, the Council agreed. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as equals, not as servants. High Elder Zixnera was removed from leadership. As the meeting ended, Alan looked at his friends. "We did it." Colonel Reeves nodded. "We didn't just save humanity. We changed the galaxy." Mary smiled. "Not bad for a primitive species."